We started these mighty conversations 2 decades ago, and there's no time like the present to talk about the things that are important. I'm Commissioner Khadijah, and this is the Mighty Six Conversations. Hello, I'm Commissioner Khadijah Abdul Rahman, affectionately known as Commissioner Khadijah. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Mighty Six Conversations. Summer break is over and school's back in session as thousands of Fulton County students head to the classrooms. Later in the show, I'm going to provide you with some resources to ensure your scholars have a great school year. But first, we're going to talk about something that's dear to me as a pet lover: the plans that are underway to build a new Fulton County animal shelter. The new animal facility is scheduled to open in the fall of this year and will house more than 350 pets. That's good news for hundreds of animals awaiting adoption that will, in the meantime, enjoy a new temporary home. Fulton has invested more than $40 million in the new shelter that will be a state-of-the-art animal services facility. It will house a maternity ward, multiple surgery tables, a puppy clinic, and lots of space for puppies to run and play. When we come back, I'll introduce you to the team that helps to keep our pets safe. Welcome back to the Mighty Six Conversations. Joining me today in the conversation about the need for a new shelter is Audrey Shoemaker, Director of the Lifeline Animal Project and Fulton County Animal Services, which is one of the largest shelters in Metro Atlanta. Also joining me is Matthew Kellmeyer, Director and Chief of Fulton County Emergency Management and Homeland Security. Thank you both for joining me. Audrey, let's get started with you first.
Okay.
I know your resume. I know you're a 20-year veteran of the Atlanta rescue community, which tells me that you've got a vested interest in ensuring that the animals are given the love and care they deserve. I know that Lifeline plays an important role in making that happen by managing not only the Fulton County Animal Shelter, but also the DeKalb County and 2 other private shelters. But tell our constituents, how did you become involved in Lifeline, and what capacities have you served since the time you've been with us?
Yeah, thank you for that. I joined Lifeline in 2013.
Okay.
So that was just shortly after they took over the contract. I had been a fan of the work for a long time. I'd been in the rescue community, as you mentioned, for quite some time. But I decided to make the switch and do it as my career in 2013. And I started as the volunteer and foster coordinator. Then I moved into rescue coordinator for a short time. Then I managed the program teams that were working on placement, and then eventually moved into the role of director last year.
Okay, well, you got a big history with us, and I love your passion.
Thank you.
You're always there. I appreciate that with you.
Thank you.
And Matthew, we know you play an important role in Fulton County as director of our emergency management. I'm sure our viewers are wondering, emergency management, animals, Homeland Security. Can you kind of tell us and educate us on how you became involved with the Animal Shelter Project?
Thank you, ma'am. It was actually a really interesting path to get to this point. It was with the Board of Health, excuse me, the Health Department prior to, and of course they were transitioning to a state agency, so they were looking around for a home. When I was in New Orleans, one of the responsibilities that I had was overseeing the Animal Services Program as well, so I volunteered for it. At first, they were a little reluctant because they thought they was mentally unstable to want to jump into this. And after continuing to push it, I was able to have that opportunity. And really, I believe in civil service. And I think this is one of the places where we can actually touch the constituents that we serve and be able to impact their lives through this program. So I was actually super excited about having the opportunity.
And so were we.
Well, you know what I love about you all, Audrey and Matt? You all are passionate, and I'm passionate too. And so even though we may be in different capacities, we have a love for animals. And I think that always surfaces. You don't even have to have a conversation. I think me and Matt was talking one day, and Matt was like, "Wow, Commissioner, you really do love animals, don't you?" And I
Yes.
said, "Yes." So but here recently, our current facility was described as a third world shelter for animals. And in order to set the stage for the new state of the art facility, talk to us about the current facility as it relates to the number of animals when it was originally built to handle versus what it's actually handling today and what's housed there.
Great question. Actually, it was actually built in 1978, and it was never created to be an adoption center.
Wow.
Really was a place where animals were picked up from the community, brought in. All the animals on one particular day were put in a run, and they went down the week. And if no one picked up the animals on Monday, by the time it rolled back around to Monday, they were euthanized. So it was not a place where you could have bonding, look for forever homes. It was large runs, it wasn't individual places. And it's really difficult because it was only created for about 100 dogs. Our current
Wow.
census is up to about 330 plus animals a day. And it makes it difficult to be able to love those dogs to put their best foot forward. So behavioral concepts come into play, and they actually makes it difficult for them once again to show their best self, so that when someone's coming in there to look for their forever friend, it makes it a challenge. So what we're looking forward to is being able to change the way animal welfare is done in Fulton County, and to provide a better home to make that possible. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Lifeline, we're very interested in running a lot of programs and making it as easy as possible for people to come in and save lives. And the building right now is in direct conflict with that. It's very challenging. It's hard to run some of these programs, to be very welcoming. You've been to our shelter, we have really loving staff. We have an amazing group of volunteers. But a lot of the challenges that we face are trying to overcome the building itself to make it more welcoming.
Well, I tell you, it's so hard for me to get past that number. What did you say, 78?
It was just shy of about 100 when it was created for, and we have that census of about 330
And it's
plus.
2023.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the
2023.
whole thought process of euthanizing animals, the whole thought process of adoption services, the whole process of canine and trying to work with the inmates. I mean, all of that has a play. But I can't get past almost the 50-year mark. Matt, is my
No, the
you
math is
know.
right. It reached that point, and you actually touched on something that's really important. Before Lifeline came into the picture, 35% of the dogs that came through the front door went back out the front door. That's not really great numbers.
Yeah.
Since Lifeline's been in the picture, we actually have over 90% of the animals that come through the front go back out the front door. So that actually is an incredible save rate, and that
is.
allows us to be able to categorize ourselves as a no-kill shelter. Because of the incredible work of Lifeline and the fosters that we have out there. We
Exactly.
cannot tell you how important it is for the foster community that we have.
Well, I tell you, having been there, sitting there myself, because I adopted a pet, and my Fergie was Fergie had been brought back twice, and so for some reason we connected, and I've had Fergie almost going on 2 years now, and he's a part of the family. But the point that I'm trying to make is, I've been there sitting in the front and watch people give up their dogs, and they'd be in tears because they'll say, well, my landlord won't allow me, or I'm homeless, or for whatever reason. And it's gut wrenching that they have to give their dog up. And so this is a process that people go through, but we do have the overcrowding issue. So can you explain to the constituents what the effects of overcrowding, how it affects not only the staff, the people that we are partners with, but just the general public? Can you kind of espouse on that?
If I can, one of the first things that was really hurtful for me is when I heard Audrey tell me that we are seeing folks coming to the parking lot in U-Haul trucks or Ryder trucks, and they're surrendering their animals because they have nothing else they can do. They're at their wits' end. And one of the great programs that I like Audrey to share with is the Wait 48 program. So we're asking folks to wait 48 hours before they get to that point where they feel that there's nothing else they can do, and provide resources for them. But once again, the overcrowding of that facility, it talks about the behavior aspect of the dogs. It also makes it harder for someone to come in there and feel like it's a welcoming environment to walk through it and find their forever friend. So it's overwhelming there. It's overwhelming for our staff and volunteers. Currently, our break room is a trailer where we also house our cats. So if you've ever been around cats, you know what a litter box can smell like. If you can imagine all of our cats in one enclosed environment, and you're trying to break, have your lunch, have your dinner, and then be able to give your best self back to the animals in the community, it's hard. And that's why we're so looking forward to this new facility being able to give those type of things to our volunteers and our staff and all those other folks so they can give the best of the animals into the community.
Let me ask you this. Dealing with the overcrowding, if you could say on a good day to maybe the worst day, the intake runs the gamut from one end to what end?
So
Weekly.
on average, we take in between 20 and 25 animals a day. That's mostly dogs and cats, and mostly dogs. So we're looking at around, on a month basis, somewhere between 650 to 660 a month. And that's mostly dogs. And Matt did say that the building was built originally to house 80 dogs. It was not built to house any cats. That's why we have them in a trailer. Wow. So it really is a challenge because we're talking about sentient beings. They have feelings. They need emotional, mental stimulation to be successful. And this impacts every aspect of their health. And so when you're coming in and you're thinking about bringing a new family member home and they've been really institutionalized for some time, it's really hard to make sure that we're giving the enrichment. Our team works so hard to do that extra mile because they obviously need to be cleaned and fed.
Exactly.
But they do need outside time. They need some time with enrichment. And so we have some different programs to run through in our current facility. It's very challenging to do that in the current facility.
Yeah, I know it's challenging. I tell you, when I picked up my dog, I saw 3 other dogs that I wanted to take with me, and I had to have a conversation with myself. Khadija, you don't have the space, you don't have the time. But it is gut wrenching to know that if you could, you would take them all. You know, because you're right. They're socialized, but they're also institutionalized. I think about my dog and the things that we had to work out because I think because he had been taken back, he must have thought I was going to take him back. And I used to find myself having conversations, Fergie, I'm not taking you back. Just please come from under the bed. We can talk about it. But at any rate, I love the work that you all are doing over there. The question I have is that some people are asking, why are we spending so much money on a new shelter? They hear so much discussion on the need for a county to have a new jail. Now, I have my own opinions about it, but to me, you all are subject matter experts. So kind of share with our constituents, if you don't mind.
I think the important thing is we're the safety net facility for animals in our community. And for the people that need that assistance as well. So there is a pivot from what we're doing for the old dog catcher days to really animal welfare. And at the same time, how can we educate our community to have that proper intersect with our animals and to live with them in a society that makes sense? And that's one of the important things about this is that we're going to be able to have this in the new facility. We'll be able to do community outreach where we've been extremely difficult in a facility that we're landlocked in right now. But at the same time, we're going to be able to move the needle when it comes to our youth. And that's what we're so excited about, is to be able to bring them in, get them familiarized with animal care, just like we went home and embarrassed our parents of how to use seatbelts in a car.
Exactly.
We want to be able to get the youth to be able to understand what that means and to go and mobilize that effort as we continue to move forward. And we're super excited about that opportunity.
I may be showing my age now. You know, when I grew up, we used to call it a dog pound. You know, that's what we did. But now we're calling it the animal shelter. When I grew up, you never ever even thought about any type of spading or any type of population control. Culturally, here, and I'm being candid, we didn't do it because we were led to believe you don't do that. You let the dog have 10, 12 puppies or whatever, give them to the neighbors, so it's a different culture now. And so I want you to speak to that, but I also want you all to speak on the different type animals. I heard that you all had a donkey.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. But what type of animals do we house, or more importantly, what is the I don't want to say the strangest, but for the lack of a better word, what is the most extraordinary animal have you all had to come your way?
Wow, can't wait for Audrey to tell me what she had the most exotic. But I remember the first time I went to the shelter, there was a horse being walked through our parking lot because it needed an opportunity to stretch its legs. And we do have a barn there and other farm animals as well. And for the longest time, Audrey had about 8 fish in her office that was actually found in a hotel in Fulton Industrial that was abandoned.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's some other exotic animals that you've had as well, right?
I actually keep that tank up because we get turtles in pretty regularly, and so I'm constantly draining the water and then putting water back in for the turtles. See, we get donkeys. I think we have a goat at the shelter right now.
A goat?
Yes, they're adorable. They are adorable. So we're constantly running in and out trying to get new feed for whatever kind of new critter we have. We get lots of rabbits lately, guinea pigs. We do get the occasional snake, lizards. The larger donkeys come in fairly regularly, and horses fairly regularly.
Okay. You know what? I would have never known a goat, really. Wow. I tell you, you all are educating even me, and I think I'm one of the biggest animal lovers. Now, the new facility, the way it would be set up, what would be the housing time, the average housing time, optimal that you all think will be before a potential person can adopt from now as to what they're going to be doing then?
So everything about shelters, we want for their stay to be as pleasant and as brief as possible, because this is not where we want for our pets to be. It is challenging for them to be, as we were just talking about, in a cage. So our goal is always to lower that length of stay, is what we call it in an animal shelter. So we do allow pre-adoptions. The moment an animal comes in, unless they have a particular hold, an owner situation, there's court involved for some reason, which is fairly unusual, they can be pre-adopted that day. We go ahead and do the paperwork, and we will schedule the surgery so they can get spayed or neutered, get all their vaccinations, and leave as soon as their hold is up. So we do require holding for 4 days on a regular stray loose is what we call them. So that would be without a known owner. So everything is about trying. We have as many programs as we possibly can to try to make that movement happen, so they can get out as quickly as possible and go ahead and start their new life with their family.
And one of the other things, ma'am, that we're going to have in the new shelter is an area once folks come in, our most highly adoptable dogs will be front and center. They'll walk down a hallway and they'll see those dogs that we want folks to be able to go and draw their attention to. And what we're looking for is just showcasing those and continue to get folks to fall in love with them as well. So a lot of cool things that we've actually put into this new facility is to draw people's attention to the folks that really need that forever home.
And having different housing is going to make a big difference, and being able to go into an area where cats are going to have a really great space in this new shelter, where if you're a cat person and you're not so much into the dogs, you can go in and spend time with our cats and actually have a pleasant experience. Same for the dogs as you walk through. So it'll be a little bit easier for people to be able to see the pet and to be able to interact with them in a more natural environment. Because as you were talking about with Fergie, I see so often when people come in to visit, when they first go into the play yard, a lot of times the dog they were just in a cage for a long time. So they're going to spend quite a bit of time walking around the yard and peeing on what they can pee on and sniffing stuff. And so I hear so often, oh, the pet doesn't like me, the dog doesn't like me. And do they just need a few extra minutes? So I'm hoping that once we have a much more pleasant environment for everybody to spend some time together, that we can get through some of those moments where they get to know you sort of moments.
And I'm glad you hit on that, because I think it would be more people that would be able to adopt if they have the support and education. And this being in my district, I have educated myself to know that you all have put a lot of plans and resources into letting people know, hey, you can adopt. We'll show you what you need to do. We'll walk you through it. I'm so excited about that, because I've actually talked to people that said, Commissioner, I don't know if I can adopt. I don't even know if I'm even suitable for it. I said the thing about it is they will teach you and they'll walk with you, and I appreciate you all doing that. As we draw to a close, what is the need right now? I always want to put an ask out there when I have an opportunity uh, for animals right now. What is the need for permanent housing? What is the need for adoption right now in Fulton County?
We, I know that people have seen a lot of news, and the word crisis has been a word that we have used pretty regularly with our animal situation. And unfortunately, we're really in dire situation right now with our animals. We are asking for people, if they can help, to please come and help. There's so many different opportunities. On so many different sides. We do have a lot of the placement programs that you're talking about. You can come in and adopt. We have trial adoptions. So if you're not so sure and you want a little bit, maybe that commitment word's just not working for you, we can do a trial adoption where we ask that you take the dog home. I'm going to say dog or cat for 2 weeks, and we'll help try to work you through that. We have a Dog for a Day program where you can go out just for a day and take the dog to the park. This is a great opportunity to advocate. Maybe you're not interested in adopting, but you're interested in helping a pet find a new family. We couldn't do this without advocates. If you look at the ratio that we have for staff and compared to the needs of the pets, we need our community members to come out and advocate for them. Let the community know that this is what's going on in your own community shelter, and bring the dog to them. I mean, go have a cocktail on a nice patio on a beautiful Beltline day, and do Dog for a Day. We also have our Weekend Warrior program where you can take them for the weekend. On the other side of that, though, Matt mentioned the Take 48. We know that our neighbors, they're experts on their community, and they know how to get a lot of these pets back. So if you do believe that you found a loose dog, if you could take that extra time to talk to neighbors, see if maybe you can help us get that pet back home before bringing it into the shelter. We do have folks who have, they care deeply about their pets, but transportation might be an issue for them. Or they don't know what to expect, as you said, when they come into the shelter, what the reclaim situation to be able to get their pet back will be like. And so we do hope that if the community can help us with that, and really just be good neighbors, talk to one another, you can get so much further than bringing the pet in and us trying to get it back home.
Well, listen, I'm officially letting everybody know that I am the Animal Services Commissioner. And so they can call my office, they can reach out to me and see what we have, because I know in my conversations that the community wants to help. And a lot of times they don't know, and they just need to be educated, like you just said. Take 48. I think if a little bit more effort would be put in, that would help as well. But guess what? There are individuals that want to come and volunteer. If it means just coming and walking the dog, if it means just coming in, adding some emotional support, they want to do it. They want to get involved. So I'm going to make sure that we do a collaboration to get that information out more. What are the final words that you all want to share with the public about our new state-of-the-art shelter?
66% of the households in Fulton County have an animal. So this is near and dear to everyone's heart, majority of the people that we serve. And this facility is finally going to be able for us to be able to do the true animal welfare that is meant for us to be able to do in our community. And it's going to allow us to be able to touch our constituents and help them get through the roughest days that they have in so many different ways. And that's something we're super excited about, is to be able to bring this to them. It wasn't happenstance where it was chosen. It was based upon a needs assessment. We looked at our community. We found out where the deserts were for veterinary care. We're going to offer free and low-cost veterinary care there for our community. But at the same time, it's also where the greatest need is. And that's why this location was chosen, and that's why it's built, and we cannot wait to go ahead and open the doors.
Now, you mean to tell me it wasn't put there because I'm the commissioner? No, I'm just kidding.
Anything for the commissioner that advocates for animals, anything.
Listen, I am the Animal Services Commissioner. Can't take that away from me. Listen, thank you, Audrey. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, ma'am.
We appreciate you all today. If you're interested in either adopting or becoming a foster parent to a pet, you can do so by contacting Lifeline or the Fulton County Animal Shelter at one of the following numbers or emails. We thank you today. We've had a great conversation with you all. But listen, can you all come back?
Absolutely.
And we're going to bring your next dog, too.
Yes.
Oh, dogs. Okay.
Yes.
We're going to bring your next dog to our next time.
I appreciate that. There's more to come on Mighty Six Conversations. Coming up, I'm going to share those resources to help your child enjoy a successful school year. Stay with us. Welcome back to Mighty Six Conversations. As the school year gets underway, there are several resources available to help your child with homework, tutoring, and access to books online. Elementary, middle, and high school students in Atlanta Public Schools can visit the site APS Class Pass. The site can be accessed through the Fulton County Library website at fulcolibrary.org. Well, that wraps up this edition of Mighty Six Conversations. I'm Commissioner Khadijah, guardian of your trust and one who appreciates the opportunity to serve in making sure Fulton County government is working to meet your needs and concerns. Want to get in touch with our office? Contact with us online. Email me at khadijah.abdur-rahman@fultoncountyga.gov. Visit us at commissionerkhadijah.com, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. And of course, you can always contact me at 404-612-8222. Until next time, stay safe and know that I and the Mighty Six team are working for you.